It's KVNU Aggie Game Day on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio The Fan. The best complete pregame coverage information for Aggie fans with longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, bringing you interviews, facts, stats, and lineups. Brought to you by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, LSS Insurance, Young Truck and Trailer, DD Auto and Salvage, My Mattress, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Elements Restaurant, White Pine Funeral Home, ChemDry of Northern Utah, Aegis Home Health and Hospice, Les Olson Company, Prodigy Brewing, Cache Valley Bank, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and Golden Spike Electric. It's the KVNU Aggie Game Day pregame show.
Wow, is it a terrific day for Utah State football at home for homecoming as the Aggies take on the Falcons tonight. Hi, everybody. Al Lewis here. There is some life showing from our defending Mountain West champions. Despite losing the last four going into tonight, that BYU game last Thursday night was 38-26 against the number 16 team in the nation, Coach.
Moral victories aren't much fun, but I do think there's a lot to build on. Felt like we played, at least the first half, played our best football of the season, which we clearly need to build off of and find that football team consistently.
And now you're doing that going into the Mountain West that doesn't really seem to have a whole lot of direction of dominance. You get 60 minutes of, again, that BYU game effort you got in the first 30 minutes. You can beat Air Force. Hold on to the destiny of your title in your hold hands as you really get into these last 7 games of the season. Meantime, the Falcons head man Troy Calhoun is the elder statesman, the coach in this conference. To be honest, a little quirky at times what he says about the opponents, but boy, he sounds like he's playing Georgia or Alabama today when he plays the Aggies.
You know, you could play really, really well this week, and golly, it's not always a result that you want just because you're playing against a team that's, again, just so capable talent-wise.
So the worry today really is getting the win against the Falcons for homecoming. You have to score when you have a chance to get the football against them because somehow they try to always, they always, again, they have the best rushing attack in America, and it's hard to stop. They're number one in America as it goes into today. In fact, Hale Motuapawaka up front.
Playing Air Force is much different from playing anybody else. You know, the type of offense they run, no one else runs that type of offense. And as far as the war in the trenches, it's going to be a war. It's very nasty. It's very physical. But, you know, you just got to bring it and compete with them because, you know, Air Force is always a physical team to play, especially their O-line.
Like I said, if Hale and the crew don't slow them down some, every time you get the ball becomes so important. It's scarce when you get it, so precious. Cooper Lega and his teammates have got to get points when they get the football to try to hang with the academy today. And can USU's defense improve? They've improved the last couple of games in better ways, especially against the run. Can they make it harder on the Falcons to move and score? They haven't stopped Air Force very well the last 2 times they played them. So can the Aggie offense play the full game and get production statistically to be able to hang with this good Air Force team? That's what we've got set up for today, and that's why we play the games, and that's why we're here to talk about each one of them. I mean, so many last season were great finishes at the end, and on the winning side, this team needs the real positive finish tonight. And this could be the best team in the league overall, although San Jose is making a threat about that as well. So it is the Air Force Falcons, Utah State Aggies coming up here. KVNU Aggie Game Day is back on this Saturday and also live over on Sports Talk Radio The Fan. Al Lewis here, Craig Hislop joining with me in just a moment to preview this game of 2022 for homecoming. Can we ask for, 75 degrees right now, probably kickoff time. It'll be still close to that. It cools off fast in the evening. So if you're going to the stadium, we hope you are. Make your plans to take along maybe a blanket to enjoy the game with later on this evening as it gets going because this could be entertaining. Let's hope. Again, Utah State defensively capable, offensively capable. They got to probably click on the cylinders to be able to beat Air Force. Our game day sponsors as we get started today include My Mattress. Again, always the number one sleep source here in the Valley. Number one rated for better sleep is the IntelliBed gel mattress that they have available at My Mattress by the South Walmart. And also, it's Jarek Fines Jewelry, the green car place where they have the best Of course, you can always make it special, make it Jerrick's, but people find out best price, best service in the Valley. Highly recommended is what people say about Jerrick's Fine Jewelry as we get started again for the Aggies and Falcons today. So it is conference play the rest of the season now. And Craig, let's start off. Our Aggies certainly went one half with number 16 BYU last Thursday. In fact, probably outplayed them for one half, but the fact was it's another loss in that game.
Yeah, 17-17 at halftime. Third quarter, BYU got right to work with Jaron Hall throwing a couple of touchdown passes. Aggie kicker Connor Coles chipped in with a 33-yard field goal. So it was BYU 31-20 after three quarters, and then the last quarter, just each team scored a touchdown, basically. Final is 38-26. Since the opener against UConn, the Aggies had struggled to get a running game put together, but against BYU, 204 yards on the ground. Total offense last week against the Cougars was almost dead even. It was 397 to 392 for BYU. And remember, 7 of BYU's points came on a pick six in the first quarter. And also, remember at the end of the first quarter when the Aggies had driven down into BYU territory, fumbled at the 16 to end what should have been a scoring drive. That would have made it tied at 14 at that point. What made the BYU game feel a little different than in four earlier Aggie games this season was how the Aggies took the opening kickoff. They marched right down the field, 75 yards, 12 plays.
Hadn't done that.
Had not. Aggies hadn't scored in the first possession of any game this year. And the other thing was, I thought, pretty good, was 6 of 17 on third down conversions against BYU.
Now, the defense has been better against the run in the last three losses. I mean, even Weber State ran the ball, but they had a lot of attempts in that game. But it was Cooper Lega and his legs, Craig, that seemed to have maybe given us some offensive spark against BYU.
Yeah, he puts together that opening drive. That really set the tone for the game and for him himself, starting at quarterback for the first time in his Utah State career and scoring on that 7-yard run at the end of that drive. So that made it 7-0. It certainly got the attention of the BYU defense. He passed for 188 yards, threw for a couple of touchdowns, did run for that touchdown, and had over 50 yards rushing, and he can run with the ball. So his total is 19 of 31 passing. A favorite target was the graduate senior Brian Cobbs, 10 catches, 96 yards, a couple of touchdown catches. Calvin Tyler Jr., the game's top rusher with 104 yards. That's his second time this season with 100, sixth time in his career. And for Aggie fans hoping to see their team make improvements every game, a next important step would have to be more efficient and effective and productive throwing the ball. Remember, the Aggies threw for 448 yards last year against Colorado's Air Force in Colorado Springs. And the defense. It was the third straight game that the Aggie defense played well, allowing BYU just 117 rushing yards. Remember, BYU had been a 460 yards a game offense coming into this game, but they only managed 397, as I said, against Utah State. The last three games, Aggie opponents have barely averaged 3 yards a carry rushing the ball, and obviously a big defensive key today against Air Force.
You think so?
With their option would be to control the run, like they did against BYU. That'd be great.
No doubt about it. Feeling after his first start for Cooper Lega?
Obviously would have liked to win, but, I mean, it's cool finally playing a full game. And, I mean, as fun as it is to be the guy, it hurts that much worse to lose. So, like, yeah, it's fun to finally be out there and be the guy, but at the same time, the losses hurt a lot worse. So.
Because he was involved in what has been kind of a big bugaboo for us, Craig, the last couple of games. The turnovers. What is it, 9-0 last two games?
Oh, yeah, 7 interceptions in the two games, 5 by UNLV, 2 of them by BYU. And Lega also fumbled the ball in the BYU game. Remember, these have been the 2 pick sixes keep coming back to my mind by opponents recently as well. But the defense has really had the offense's back when you look at it that way, because in the last 3 games, the Aggie defense has allowed 2 field goals, that's 6 points, after the next drive by the opponent of the 11 Aggie turnovers in that period of time. Also, the Aggies are showing signs of dealing with a huge problem in some of the early games, I thought. They're getting their penalty numbers down a little bit. They certainly did against BYU. And also in the BYU game, the Aggies had the edge in first downs, 24-20. Aggies had the edge in the time of possession. But like you have said, the Aggies have got to keep the ball away from the Air Force team. So more of all those factors we just talked about would really make a difference if they did in this game.
And again, it's not an easy deal to just say it because, again, when you get the ball against them, so much stress on you because you know you're facing this Air Force team that normally keeps the ball away from you. So when you get it, it's so precious, you got to score.
And how do they do that? Well, mostly they run the ball, and they're in their usual position. Number 1 in the country in rushing. Number 3 in time of possession in college football. They're third nationally in another positive statistic, and that's not making penalties. Their quarterback is returning Hezekiah Daniels. Their running back, Brad Roberts, now 9th in the country and running the ball. They always seem to be able to put together an offensive line that understands the intricacies of blocking for this running game. Now, on defense, they have the number 1 pass efficiency defense of all of college football. That may be a commentary on some of their opponents. I'm not sure. It could be a challenge, though, for the Aggies who are trying to pick up the pace and throwing their passing game put together. And they're always been tough to run on, these these Air Force teams. So now you combine that with a pass defense that's stingy, and you wonder how will the Aggies attack them in this game. Against Navy last week, senior linebacker Vince Sanford had a career-high 10 tackles. His career high previously was the 9 he had last year against the Aggies. Junior linebacker Alec Mock had 13 tackles against Navy. He's their leading tackler now in 5 games with 35 total tackles. Safety Trey Taylor, 27 tackles. Cornerback Michael Mack, 3rd in total tackles as well.
So it's an easy-sounding game plan for Air Force today, at least according to Coach Blake Anderson.
I think their formula is shorten the game, play fewer snaps, be more physical than the opponent, and don't make a lot of mistakes, and that tends to be a really good defensive team. And,
of course, we heard, Craig, this week how Troy Calhoun and the Falcons don't turn over the ball with their offensive team. Remember his comment was about, trying to find the worst equipment you can to make the guys hold on to it?
Try to find the oldest, most bloated, fattest, baldest balls we can and make them slick.
make them slick, and those guys have to hold on to it in practice. Well, Falcons have beaten Nevada 48-30. They lost to Wyoming 17-14 in the Mountain West so far. So they can't lose another one. And Craig, like I said, it's kind of a desperation time for our Aggies to try to hang on to hopes for the Mountain West title again when they do have that Vegas defeat a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so you look at everything else that's going on, too. Tonight, Boise State hosts Fresno State. The Broncos will be 3-0 if they win. Wyoming and Air Force right now both have a loss in the Mountain Division. And with all the 12 teams involved in conference games over this weekend, the winner of the UNLV San Jose State game and the Broncos could really stretch it out if they win. And let's face it, the Aggies, as you said, have already lost a conference game, and they could be done in regards to repeating as league champion if they lose to this game to Air Force. That's 2 league losses with 6 league games to go. However, this year's conference lineup does not really look that imposing, and we're going to be in for some results the next few weeks that could really create some surprising scenarios among all these teams before we finally get to the 2 schools that are going to meet for the conference championship. You look at it on paper, and you might conclude this Air Force team here on Merlin Olsen Field tonight might be the best in the league when you consider they're 30th in total offense nationally and 14th in the country in defense. Nobody in the league right now has those kinds of credentials going. Plus, 8 of our 12 Mountain West schools.
It's amazing.
The bottom third of offensive statistics.
This used to be the Pass Happy Conference and all. I'm going to detail the numbers later on. You're not going to believe it, folks, really, right now.
Yeah, 3 of the 5 worst offensive teams in America right here in the Mountain West. And for some reason, this league is just not brimming with teams that control the ball very well. And we know we're going to go into a bit more of that detail of that, as you said, later in the show.
Can the Aggies be a team? I mean, Brian Cobbs caught 10 passes the other game. He had his best game, and you can tell the transfer from Maryland's been trying to bone up on the Mountain West.
Each weekend I try to watch. I've been watching Wyoming a lot. I feel like they're on TV a good amount. I watched New Mexico UNLV this past weekend, so I try to watch as many games as I can. But, I mean, it's kind of crazy right now. You got, like, Fresno State just lost to UConn. You got a bunch of teams who kind of found their momentum, are hitting things early, and then we're still trying to find our stride. And I believe that it's coming for sure. We know we got a tough slate these next few weeks, so we just know that once we feel like if we can get that first win, I think the momentum will really start to build, and we'll be able to do some really good things.
So hopefully the Aggies can do it for homecoming today. And Craig, you've seen a lot of homecomings over the years and been involved in a few things, but you've had something kind of special this weekend for homecoming.
Yeah, this all started, well, first of all, let me tell you, 16 years as a football independent after they were left out of the changes that were made by BYU and Utah. So 16 years, and then the Aggies joined the Pacific Coast Athletic Association in time for the 78 football season. So then they, in 78 and 79 under Bruce Snyder, I thought they tied both years for the championship. The PCAA numbers that I've found here in the last couple of days say they won one outright and tied for the other one. Well, anyway, so here we have a bunch of players who never got rings.
No, didn't get rings, but they're really great names. Some names that Aggie fans will remember, too.
Rulon Jones, Eric Hipple. The event they had last night, both of those two guys spoke. We had a letter written from Rick Peros, another NFL-type player, who couldn't be there, and that was really interesting. And all kinds of great athletes, James Murphy and Donnie Henderson. Jimmy Bryant was a kick returner. One of the great punters, Guy McClure. Not all these guys were here, but they gathered last night to somebody among the group of players, I think. It might have been the athletic department. Nobody's talking about that, but they all got their championship rings last night. It was a great event to be a part of.
And Craig, thank you very much. You were the MC of that last night. Now, right now on campus, they do that Aggie Remembrance at the Merlin Olsen statue on homecoming about an hour and a half before the game. So I don't know if that's still going on now as they read names of Aggies who have gone by. You want to honor those people. So it's kind of special, and I hope they do honor those guys that came last night at the football game tonight. In the meantime, we do have more coming up from Craig a little bit later on, and more from Troy Calhoun.
I thought both teams played really, really hard, and obviously Utah State extremely talented. They will be again this season, and clearly there's a reason why they ended up winning the conference championship.
He was reflecting on 49-45 last year. We have lots more meaty information, interviews, and sound from coaches and players coming up for you on our KVNU Game Day, that is also on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan, as well. Hey, it's sponsored by Prodigy Brewing, downtown Logan on Center Street. Before the game, after the game, Oktoberfest is on. They got some really good deals. That's where you get the best in all the brews, plus, of course, pizza and burgers, and it is a great family spot as well. Prodigy Brewing brings you Game Day on KVNU and The Fan.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204. That's 787-1204 today. See store for details.
This is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October is our 14th year anniversary. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary, we will buy your dinner at Bloom Eatery. The entire month of October, come in ring shopping and Bloom is on us. Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
Advanced Heating and AC, the two-time gold medal winner in Best of Northern Utah. They're teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you the best furnace units available. And now's the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, 752-7272. Or stop by their showroom west of DI. And online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm.
With down-home country prices and big city selection.
E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot, hey, Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm. Darrell's Appliance. Low overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Cache Valley Bank on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
Well, absolutely. You try to win everything you do. Not only in the football games, you try to win everything you compete at, whether it's ping pong in here with Coach Anderson or out on the field of practice or in the game. That's just how I am. That's how this team is, and that's how you prepare. You work too hard for all year round for 12 to 13 to 14 opportunities. We literally work every day for those 14 opportunities. Only 12 are guaranteed. So yeah, you want to win every game. That's just there's no other option. So you work your butt off every week and every day and every second to get that win.
You know who that is, Logan Bonner, who always played to win for the Aggies. We'll talk more about him in a moment. Also coming up, we've got to find out Wade Meacham, our left guard. He wanted to have Merlin Olsen's number. Obviously, he can't have that. But you know what? He likes Frosties, but he's like clowns. And we'll find that out here shortly on Game Day before the Aggies and Falcons today. Also brought to you by, hey, keeping your eyes open for the Utah State Fireplace Changeout Program. Advanced Fireplace and Stove can help you navigate the red tape and get a brand new Quadrifire pellet stove installed. 752-7272 for Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Yeah, there were so many tributes this week from players and fans to Logan Bonner after we found out that he had that foot injury in the last play of the UNLV game, the same foot that he had injured again before he got to Utah State when he came in to do spring football of 2021. Again, in his Mountain West title season, 5 school records, 3,628 yards, 36 touchdowns, 4 touchdown passes in 3 straight games at one time, 4 touchdown passes at 6 games, those all school records. It was the second best offensive year that he's ever had. And he ends up ending his career, again, playing at Utah State University on the kind of play, again, that he was always just trying to make. One extra moment or two to throw a pass, he knew he was going to get hit.
You see stuff in the defense, and you know it's going to be open, and you're going to get hit either way, so you might as well make the throw. That's the way I would look at it. I'd rather make a throw and stand there and get hit than just get hit and not make a throw and take a sack.
So he was a redshirt in 2016 at Arkansas State. So when it began 7 years later, not what he really wanted. Now it appears the offense, of course, it needs Cooper Legas and his legs. But, you know, Logan was a guy who said before the year started that he was always ready to have Cooper or even Levi Williams come in to replace him.
Yeah, they're really talented. Obviously, you saw what Cooper could do, and then obviously you saw what Levi did to us. So they're super talented. I'm really excited about the group. So I think the whole room is really talented, and I think it'll be really fun to watch.
So surgery Monday afternoon. He was back on the practice field on one of those little mobile devices with his leg in the boot and the cast propped up after the surgery that he had. Hopefully it will work out well for him. So, again, it is Cooper Legas. His playmaking was great against BYU in the first half, maybe not as much in the second half. Coop?
I think I competed as hard as I could, but at the same time, I think that made me do some stupid things. So I think bring that same competitiveness, but only up to a certain point, take care of the ball, don't throw the ball where it doesn't need to go, and hold on to it.
And maybe some of us thought that Cooper should have got a shot earlier in the season the way it was going for Bonner and the Aggie offense. But we found out after the game, Legas' number one fan, again, is Logan Bonner, and he was Logan Bonner's number one fan too.
He's been cool all year. Just anytime he has to come out, he's right there in my ear telling me what he sees. And like, I've had his back the whole year too. Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff he's doing, like, there's random crap, but like, it doesn't look good sometimes when there's all these turnovers and all that. I've had his back. I'm not like talking behind his back saying, oh, I should go in. I've been there for him, and it's cool now that he's out. He's totally been supportive of me and just trying to help me see what he's been seeing out there and everything. So he's right. We're way close.
And Coach Blake Anderson restated it on Monday on Legas' first start against BYU. And what he now expects is Game 2 is coming on today.
I thought Coop did a good job. He can't turn the ball over. There's a couple plays he'd love to have back. But he was poised. He gave us a chance to be competitive and control the offense most of the night. He's only going to get better as he moves forward. And you know, hopefully he'll learn from a couple mistakes and just keep getting better each week.
Irony, of course, in Cooper Legas starting against BYU for the first start in his career after he had the magic first play last year of the bowl game. His grandpa played at BYU. I think his dad went to BYU, and he lived just down the street from BYU. But here's an irony in Game 2. A few years back, Cooper Legas was recruited by Air Force. In fact, all of the service academies. Troy Calhoun knew him pretty well.
Now you're looking at a kid that was, I think, you're in the spring of his junior, so you're looking at junior film, at the time. But he was a really, really talented player in high school.
And, now, again, the run game of Utah State has this little wrinkle. You can go to the power running game, and the quarterback called run plays it well. And that also makes this defense, of course, of Air Force have to count for one more guy around the line of scrimmage. Does diversify the attack, Coach.
We did get out on the edges of the defense a little bit more, something that just self-analysis over the first month of the season, something we needed to utilize more. Quarterback run game clearly had to do with Coop's legs, but some of the other stuff we ran is just a progression of what we're going to have to do offensively with our running game to be more effective.
Now can it help the passing game? And Legas needs to be, of course, more accurate and have better technique going out there in this game. Another week of work, I'm sure that will be improved. Air Force is good, statistically the best in the country, pass defense efficiency. So, again, we hope they get tested today, and hopefully, again, we'll be able to pass the test to do something with our passing attack. That's how we moved it against them last year, along with the run game. Most years we've had a tough time running against Air Force. We've had to throw it. Brian Cobbs, 10 catches, 94 yards, 2 scores against BYU. Like we said, the Maryland transfer comes into, again, this Mountain West season, and he knows this one's a really big game tonight.
Obviously, UNLV was on the west side, so, it sucked losing to them, but this really matters now that we're playing like a team on our side of the conference. So I think coming into things, we saw the half we put together with BYU, and like Halle said, we feel like we can play with anybody in the country. So if we can play like that and just piece that together for a full entire game, I think that's probably the biggest driving factor and probably the biggest pressure that we feel as a team, just knowing that we played our best ball, but we played it for a half, and we want to see if we can get that going for a whole game.
Wide receiver Brian Cobbs. Okay, Eric Franson has another fun feature. It is brought to you by Thermo Fisher Scientific. Thermo Fisher makes the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. See if you can get a job down there today. They are hiring at Thermo Fisher Scientific. They bring you our Know Your Aggies features.
Let's get to know Wade Meacham a little better, offensive lineman for Utah State. So what's your favorite fast food chain?
Ooh, fast food chain? I'd probably have to go with Wendy's. I love those Frosties.
Okay. Any other particular item on their menu that stands out to you?
Always go with the Baconator. It's my go-to.
You and my son would get along. Are you a clean or a messy person?
I feel like I'm relatively clean. My wife might argue otherwise, but I feel like I do my best to clean up after myself.
Which is worse for you? Spiders, the dark, mice, or clowns?
Clowns, 100%. Nobody should be dressing up like that.
Not a clown person at all?
Not at all, no.
Turn and go the other way?
Might fight if the situation's, if the situation's right, but try to avoid violence when I can.
And then finally, what are 3 of the most significant numbers in your life?
Oh, most significant numbers. Ooh, that's a tricky one. 71 has been a big number for me. That was my high school number. It was one that I'd hoped to wear in college, but, recruited here. Merlin Olsen made sure that couldn't happen for me. I try not to be too upset about it, but man, significant numbers. 51 has been a big one. That was my dad's number growing up and stuff, and so I wore that one for a little bit. And 79, I guess football, anything number oriented, like it's always been football. So
very good. Wade Meacham, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I think Wade better remember his anniversary date if he's married there and his wife's birthday. Those would be numbers he'd probably want to keep in mind as well. All right, next up, Craig Islip did talk to Troy Calhoun during the summertime about something interesting.
Well, I understand why. I think from the perspective of the conference office, they felt like that's what was best for the league.
Getting rid of divisions for a better chance maybe to possibly get a spot in the playoffs in the future. That's what he's talking about there. And, of course, also the Mountain West really isn't what it used to be, and we're going to talk about that for 2022 as we continue on game day. Remember, if you're ever feeling overwhelmed about Medicare, as you turn 65, get with LSS Insurance. They have great plans for you, getting you into Medicare. Go 2 or 3 months out, get it all done, and get a supplemental plan to go any of your insurance needs. LSS Insurance, 752-9493. And they bring you game day. We're on the Fan and KVNU before the Aggies and Falcons at the stadium at 5. And it will be on FS1 tonight if you're not going to the stadium.
Don't get caught without power after a windstorm or a major winter freeze. Golden Spike Electric offers Generac backup generators so you can be prepared and keep your home warm while avoiding frozen pipes. Golden Spike Electric is one of the largest Generac dealers around, so you know it'll be installed right. Whether you're a homeowner or an electrician, contact Golden Spike Electric to rest easy the next time the power goes out. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. They also service other models.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Join us at Prodigy Brewing to celebrate Oktoberfest. Delicious specials going on now through the end of October. Come on down and enjoy brats and German potato salad served with our house-made sauerkraut and mustard, tankards and house-brewed beer. You keep the tankard. Find us on Instagram for updates on new events throughout the month of October. Whether you're out with the family or friends, Prodigy Brewing is the place to be in Cache Valley, located at 25 West Center Street in beautiful downtown Logan.
KVNU Game Day returns with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
Hey, it's quick scoreboard time in the third quarter, about 5 minutes to play. UCLA leads Utah 21-18 in their game. Utah just scored and got a 2-point play. The game that's on FS1 before the Aggies and Air Force is Texas Tech, and this is going long, so I think the Aggies will either have to start on FS2 on TV or maybe on an app or something. 24-23, Texas Tech leading number 7 Oklahoma State right now at Stillwater. Number 2 Georgia's leading Auburn 21-3, and Ohio State's up on Michigan State 35-13 at the half. If you missed it last night, it was San Jose State 40 and UNLV 7. They were up 33-0 at one time and just rolled in that game. So they are now 2-0 in the West, 4-1 overall. They've won 3 games in a row, more wins in a row than anybody in the league. And Colorado State stopped the longest losing streak in America as they defeated Nevada 17-14 last night. They had a field goal at the end of the game. They missed, but running into the kicker. He got one last chance, and the field goal kicker kicked it at the end of the game. Those are the only points they got offensively in the game, and beat Nevada, Jay Norvell's old team, at Reno in that game last night. So that's your update on the scoreboard. Now, let's get back to our topic here.
Well, Mike Thiessen's honestly really close friend of mine. Has been running that offense for a long, long time.
Mike Thiessen is the offensive coordinator at Air Force. They have 4 coaches who have been with the academy 10-plus years now. Iowa and 2 other schools have more. Troy Calhoun's number 4 active winningest coach now, and he's played at the academy out of Roseburg, Oregon. Then he coached there for a while. Then he went to Ohio, Wake Forest, the NFL with Denver and Houston. He was the offensive coordinator with Houston. And then Fisher DeBerry retired. They've had 2 coaches at Air Force in 39 years at the academy. The Iowa Hawkeyes have had 2-45, Kurt Ferentz after Hayden Fry. Last year, USU 49-45, September 18th over the academy. Calvin Tyler Jr. had 132 yards, 2 scores. His 61-yard run with about 4 minutes to go in the game won it. 3 times the Aggies trailed by double figures to come back and win. Logan Bonner was injured in the third quarter, you may recall, and Andrew Peasley took over. 195 yards and 3 second-half touchdown runs by him. 1,247 yards total between the 2 teams. There was 617 rushing and 630 passing. That was quite a game. Will we see anything like that tonight? I hope the Aggies can run the ball that well. We don't want Air Force to run it that well. Utah State can't give up 430 yards. So our opponent segment is always, again, with the coach and Craig, brought to you by Daryl's Appliance. Remember, Daryl's is on Airport Road. When your appliances break down, you call them. No need to go to the big box stores for appliances. They have Maytag, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool at Daryl's Appliance.
The game last September 18th in your stadium, 94 points combined by both teams, a wild football game. What comes to mind as you think about that game a year ago?
I thought both teams played really, really hard. And Obviously, Utah State extremely talented. They will be again this season, and clearly there's a reason why they ended up winning the conference championship.
Now, you guys bounced back pretty well from that. You won 4 straight, ended up a very nice season, 10-3. But right after that, no consequences. It was to me, a hard game to lose the way you guys, both teams played.
Well, I think that's part of being in a really competitive league, which we certainly have. And, the opportunity to be able to participate against some excellent teams. And certainly we had that on that evening against Utah State.
Coach, as we prepared for this interview, one of the really great stories in Air Force football, assistant coach Mike Thiessen, the country's longest-serving offensive coordinator. I assume you're happy that he's still with you. You have a lot of experienced players on offense coming back last year, but he's the guy in charge and has been for a long time with you.
Yeah, and does a really, really good job. I think one of the fortunate parts of our staff are the number of guys that we have that attended the United States Air Force Academy and are well aware of the immense challenges that are a part of working there, too.
Tell us about your offense this year.
Well, we're just in general about our football team. We lost a bunch of good players. We lost 29 seniors. And, you look offensively, have lost a first-team all-conference guard in Hawk Wimmer, probably as good offensive lineman as we've had at the academy. And we have a few guys that do return, but they had major surgeries. So I think for us, one of the keys is hopefully we're a different team we get later in October and November, just because it's going to take some time to get guys back together, especially with the new parts, but the guys that have been involved to get them back in football shape.
Your fullback, Brad Roberts, 113 yards last year against the Aggies. He's had a very solid career. You played at Air Force with another great runner, D. Dowis. Probably not the same type of runner, but in a pretty elite group at Air Force.
Well, Brad is solid. I think the part that helps is there are a couple of good players at that position, so it's not like you have to rely solely upon Brad. He is a very good worker and a guy, again, that's coming off a major surgery, and because of it, hopefully has some really, really good snaps later in October and November.
No more division play after this year. How did you feel about that when the announcement was made?
Well, I understand why. I think from the perspective of the conference office, they felt like that's what was best for the league. I think certainly we still want to make sure you keep an eye on the amount of travel that's involved. I think more than anything else, just to make sure the kids are able to go to class.
Troy Calhoun there with Craig Hislop, 16th year at the Air Force, 115 and 76 his record, 5-4 against the Aggies. Only Rocky Long has coached more Mountain West contests than Troy Calhoun. Falcons have been 25-6 the last 3 full seasons. That's best in the conference. We're not talking about the COVID year, but the other years combined. And they're the only team with votes in a national poll this week. The coaches poll put them at number 30. Again, there's nobody over in that rankings in the AP poll from our conference. We mentioned San Jose won last night over UNLV, so they're 2-0, 4-1 overall. Air Force at 4-1. Boise State's 2-0 in the Mountain Division. They play Fresno State tonight, and they're at 3-2 overall. Boise State is. Still, the Aggies are the defending champions, and just one loss does not eliminate them. Still can control things with a victory in this game today, and the Aggies know it well. Let's go back to Hale Motuopoaka.
Yes, exactly. The conference is still there for the taking. We haven't played any division games yet, and this is a big week for us. It's very important for us to come in and, do well this game. So, yeah, like whatever happened in the past and whatever our record may be right now, it matters, but not as much as the rest of the season matters. The rest of the games looking on is all conference games, and these are the ones that really count. So we're taking that to heart, and we're working hard to have a successful season.
So we're here to get game day information, your direction always before the games. College football Saturday. We'll check some other scores here in a moment or two as well. And again, my Aggie player interview this week is going to be with defensive end Patrick Joyner Jr., and that's just ahead. Ephraim Bonda brought him here, obviously, from Miami. Another junior is Gervin Hall Jr., and he joined us earlier. So, again, this 1-4 start, though, Joyner talks about that in our interview.
I think it'll be hard on any team that's coming from a winning season.
So, but we have a strong-minded team. So I don't think it affected us mentally. We know that we're getting better every week, and we still have some missing pieces, but it's all coming together.
That's again Patrick Joyner Jr. Coming up next, as we said, it's game day on this Aggie football homecoming day. They take on the Air Force Academy. What is it, 1-1 all-time against Air Force on homecoming, I think it is. Game day continues on The Fan and KVNU Live.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
Hi, this is Tyler. Recently, my father passed away, and White Pine provided the funeral services for our family. They were friendly, thoughtful, and attentive to every detail. You know, it isn't often that a loved one passes away, so it was very important to my family that everything be handled just right. Because my dad was loved by so many people, we had a lot of family and friends that traveled from out of town. I really appreciate how White Pine Funeral Services made sure everyone was comfortable and that the focus was where it needed to be, on my dad and my family. They really took care of us during this tender time.
Hi, this is Ashley from LSS Insurance. Are you getting 3 or more calls a day about Medicare? Telemarketers that offer an amazing Medicare benefit? That amazing offer may be available if you live in Florida or Arizona. At LSS Insurance, we offer the right plans for our area, and I guarantee you will get better benefits at a lower cost. It's time to enroll or change your Medicare plan. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493 or go to lssins.com or come to our free third Thursday meeting.
It's KVNU Aggie Game Day, brought to you by ChemDry of Northern Utah on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
It's very critical. Like I said a few weeks ago, it's all about getting better as the weeks go on, and I can definitely see that that's what our defense is doing as coaches and players. Our coaches have really set us up with a really good game plan coming into this weekend. It's all about us practicing hard and being able to execute when the game time comes.
As you've heard him numerous times today, Hale Motuapoaka talked to us at the press conference this week about this week of playing Air Force, which is always unique, to have to handle the triple option, blocking different than anybody in college football. It's a real tough game for the inside lineman like Hale. So that's the feature. Can the Aggies stop? But again, we're also worried about our offense finding their groove, especially now with Laga and the Aggies maybe getting the running game going a little bit again. Now can they get the passing game going as well? Because defense, as we said, has played better, especially against the run. I mean, the average was, what, about 6-7 yards a play? Now it's down to like 5 yards a play, 4 yards a play in the last couple games. The rushing was about maybe 5 yards a carry. Now it's under 4 or something the last couple of games. So we just allowed, of course, and the Aggies' defense has stood in there when they have turnovers against them. I want to hear, if you missed it, from, again, Byron Vaughns after the loss to BYU last Thursday night. He said postgame.
Well, the defense is definitely growing. We got young linebackers that are talking with the older linebackers, so we all have an understanding on what's going on. We understand that the defense is still working. I mean, it doesn't matter the situation we're in. We're taught to make the other team kick a field goal, and that's end zone. So we still have a lot of work to do. But from week 0 to now, we have definitely progressed from running to the ball, hitting, tackling. I feel like we're getting all around better.
The week 0 Connecticut game to now, despite the record is 1-4. Aggies are 120th in the nation in scoring defense, 96th in total defense. But the Aggies still make plays. They're number 8 with that kind of stat in tackles for a loss in the country. 7 sacks the team has up through now in 5 games. Byron Vaughns is one of those who says, come on, give me a sack.
5 games in, still no sacks. You know, I think we're probably the number 1 team in pressures, but no sacks probably in the nation. Feel good getting on him early. It feels good always to hit a quarterback when that's a free hit. So, yeah, I feel good hitting the quarterback.
He made a quarterback hit against BYU that got everybody talking, and he talked after the game about it. But let's talk to Byron Vaughn's outside teammate on the other side, Patrick Joyner Jr., in our Aggie player interview today. Remember, it's White Pine Funeral Services. Their webpage is whitepinefunerals.com. When you, of course, need their help. Compassionate care, high integrity, excellence in service. White Pine Funeral Services, one of our game day sponsors. He's number 0 on your roster. He plays the opposite side from Byron Vaughns.
Okay, we continue. We've talked to Calvin Tyler Jr. and Gervin Hall Jr. MJ, we found out, is a junior, and now it's Patrick Joyner Jr.
Yeah.
So, do you live up to that junior with your dad?
Of course, we play for the name in the front, but we also playing for the name in the back. With that name, we're just trying to build a legacy here at Utah State.
The legacy at Utah State comes via Miami to here. How did that work out? That seems to be probably nothing you ever had in your mind before.
Nah, I never thought about coming to Utah, but we got some good coaches out there in Miami. I decided to come over here too, and then that just made it easier for me to come out here and adapt to a new atmosphere, new weather, of course, new people, and it made everything easier.
So Coach Banda must have been the big one there.
Yes, sir.
So what do you like about him?
He's a cool dude. He know how to bring like that aggressive style of defense that we play in, and all of us like to play in. He just brings the energy to the table when we need it.
How much did you play at Miami?
I didn't play a lot. I didn't play as much as I wanted to, like that. But it was a good experience. I'm from Miami as well, so it was a good experience staying home for school. But it was also great coming out here. I got the opportunity to play more and showcase my talent and try to help the team be successful.
Patrick, did you know Gervin pretty well at Miami?
Yeah, we were recruited together. We came in together as freshmen, and I knew him since then.
Okay. Yeah. It's Air Force this week. You played in the game last year, had, I think, your most tackles in a game last year against Air Force.
Yeah,
the thing is, though, when you play Air Force, you're going to have a lot of chances at tackles a lot of times.
Yeah, so against them is you got to stay focused. You get whatever job the coaches give you, you got to stick to it the whole game. That's the thing about Air Force. They're going to continue to run down your throat until you give up. We got a strong defense, and I don't think anybody will tap on our defense. So in this game, it's just it's going to be a big part of our discipline, how disciplined we are with our assignments, and try to go out there and win a game.
When you think about last year's game, what comes to mind? Obviously a wild game, and you guys made great comebacks 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I think about that game last year, it was crazy. It was it was a high-scoring game, and then we was a lot of people were new coming in, so we were still adjusting. It was still kind of early in the season, so we were adjusting to their offense and also trying to adjust into the defense we were playing against them. But I feel like it's going to be a lot better game for us this year.
Because defensively, it looks like you've solved the run a little bit the last couple of games. Is that a fair way to you've gotten tougher? What did you guys decide as a defensive unit to get better against the run?
So in our defense, the first thing is to stop the run first, stop the run, and that's what we emphasize on every week: is stopping the run first, shoving the run up them, and and after that, just let our DBs work on the back end and help us pass rush up front. So that helps a lot.
So last year you come here and it's a winning season for the most part during the year. This year you start 1-4. Does that make it harder, or what would you say? How as you as a player have reacted to that, and how do the teams reacted to that?
I think it'd be hard on any team that's coming from a winning season. So, but we have a strong-minded team. So I don't think it affected us mentally. Like on the field, we still come out and go hard every week like we're undefeated. We come out, we practice hard. So it haven't really affected us. We know that we're getting better every week, and we still have some missing pieces, but it's all coming together.
And this game's a key game to keep you going towards your goal. Yes.
Yes, sir. This game, this is starting out for our run to the conference championship, and it's going to be a good one. Against the Air Force, they're a good team. We know exactly what they're going to do. Everybody knows what they're going to do, but we're ready.
Let me ask you, your friend Byron Vaughns on the other side had a great quote after the BYU game. I don't know if you read it, about a tight end not being able to handle him, and he wanted to rush him and get in his face and all those things. Did you read that?
No, I haven't read up on it.
You didn't read that. That was good. But he and Grishik kind of all consider yourselves starters in some ways in this? Does it make any difference who goes out there first play?
No, it doesn't. We all are different in our own way, so we all have a different style of play, and our coaches does a good job of setting us up on the field, depending on our opponent. Whoever he wants on the field, we're going to go out there and go hard, and we all going to support each other.
So, Patrick, are you more of a specialist? Are you a third down guy, more of a rusher? What?
This year, I feel like I'm more of a run-stop guy. Okay. I got a couple tackles, but you know, we got to get up on them sacks. We haven't had any sacks since Bama game, I think. So.
Well, and that's what Byron was talking about too. He wanted more sacks because he hasn't had one. And I know towards the end of the last year, we saw you guys making lots of those plays, and hopefully this defense can start moving like that. But again, the major deal this week, you got to stop the run, and then can't give up the big pass play.
Oh yes, so we're ready. We're ready.
It's good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Patrick Joyner Jr., again, joining this Aggie football team, again, after he played down at Miami briefly, like he said in his career. And he made some big plays against Air Force last year in this game early, and he was a big player at the end of the season. Okay, if you did not hear the reaction to the question, I guess Byron Vaughns was asked after the BYU game when he took Jaron Hall, the quarterback, there early in the game. He tried to sack him in the end zone, kind of threw him away a little bit. The crowd booed. They thought it was a late hit, roughing the quarterback, those kinds of things at Lavelle Edwards. And again, here's what he had to say, the last words about that.
Be more physical. Instead of coming down and trying to set the edge, we need to run through a grown man's face in front of his wife and kids that are at the game, disrespectfully, and stand over him after we do it. That's how I feel like we should be more physical with the defense. Because I know a tight end should never be able to block a defensive end. So I know if a tight end lines up in front of me, I hope his wife and kids in the stands. And I do enjoy being a villain, too. So when I hit the quarterback, I didn't think it was a dirty hit. Of course, I'm never trying to hurt anybody because I hope nobody would ever try to hurt me. This is a game. We still have lives to live. But when I hit the quarterback, I heard the crowd, and I'm like, okay, I like getting booed. I don't mind being a villain. And probably got about 10 DMs in my phone right now about hitting the quarterback.
But Joyner Jr. was not one of those guys who ended up reading about that was all tweeted out after the week of the BYU game. He's a character. Byron Vaughns, good guy, fun guy to have a chance for. If you ever have a chance to meet him, spend some time with Byron Vaughns. It really is fun. Okay, so the Aggies defensive front, secondary, linebackers, everybody has to be responsible defensively against Air Force. You got the best rushing attack in the country, and then when they throw the ball, you got to be watching for those big pass plays. They have been 3 straight years now in a row leading the nation. Is that always the goal that Troy Calhoun has for his team?
You just always try to craft a way you think your strengths are, in addition to matchups too. So I don't. That's not intentional. You know, we don't set that as a goal. I mean, would we like to throw it efficiently? We would. Would we like to run it fairly well? We would. We would like to hold on to it. We got to be better that way too.
Still, they're still about the best there is around. 34 of the last 35 years, they've been top 10 in the nation in running. Obviously, the style they do. Their junior running back is John Lee Eldridge III. He says a key to it is a little deal that they're always coached to do. And again, all running backs should listen to this.
Yeah, we talk a lot about falling forward as a back. The key to that is really just attacking the defender's weak shoulder, and always, of course, having 2 hands on the ball. So as long as you maintain great ball security, and when you come face to face with the defender, you attack his weak shoulder.
So Eldridge III is number 24. He, along with the fullback Brad Roberts, who's now 9th in the nation in rushing, he's the number 2 active rusher in all of college football, are quite a running combination for the Aggies to try to stop today.
We try to have like a little competition between each other. Going out there, we know that teams are going to try to stop at least one of us. So when that happens, the other, pushes through and tries to do the best that we can for our team.
So here's Air Force, again, a great running team coming in. And again, they do have some national stats that are good, as Craig mentioned earlier. But what in the world is going on with the pass in our conference? That used to be the most pass-happy conference anywhere. We're going to get into that next, because can Cooper Laga, again, with the running, find his passing arm today?
I think our defense is improved every week, and then I think the offense just has to get better at capitalizing on their stops.
So can we capitalize on the stops they make today? Can we get stops today? ChemDry of Northern Utah, they remove allergens out of your carpet. Superior solutions and services keep your home clean, safe, and healthy. They use the green certified solution, hot carbonating extraction. It's ChemDry of Northern Utah and the Riverwoods Conference Center. Again, Elements Restaurant ready for you for a great meal tonight on this homecoming weekend. But they also, of course, any event, and I'm sure there have been some homecoming events down around, the ballrooms, the small meeting rooms, the outdoor courtyard, and the Elements Restaurant of Riverwoods Conference Center, bringing you game day. We are on KVNU. It's Aggie Game Day from KVNU And now this year, we're also live on 94. We're live on 106.9 FM and 1390 AM, The Fan, as well.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center are now located in Providence, and Cache Valley's newest and most up-to-date medical clinic located at 2245 North, 400 East in North Logan, just south of Cache Valley Hospital. The entire staff and Dr. Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette look forward to helping you and your family at this state-of-the-art medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now located in Providence, and their new office at 2245 North, 400 East in North Logan. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
You're first and goal at the 10-yard line with seconds left on the clock. Your running back is poised for the game-winning touchdown, but before you can make the snap, the opposing team just takes the ball and locks it in a safe, and they won't give you the combination unless you pay them $10,000. That's exactly how ransomware works. And in 2021, 2 out of every 3 organizations fell victim to ransomware attacks. Protect your business with Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
The Aggies are always number one here. It's KVNU Game Day with the voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
Either you're a thief and you steal, or you're a vampire that pulls from the juice and the verve and the synergy of the group, or you add to it.
Yeah, you better be all in. And that was his thought about vampires and things that I know they love to play over on The Fan, Eric and Jason in the afternoon. And, of course, Eric will be after the game. I know for sure that Zach Van Leeuwen's going to join with us after the game tonight for our Aggie Call post-game. I haven't heard yet if Travis is going to make it, the former Aggie, because Ryan Boehm had a trip away this weekend that was planned before the season started, so he can't join us to analyze things. But we'll love to have you be a part of our show post-game with phone calls and your texting. Immediately when the game is over, you can join with us again for our coverage of Aggie Game Day post-game coming up here on The Fan and KVNU. Now, we hope you're headed to the stadium. There are still tickets remaining for a terrific night weather-wise. Can't ask for anything better. 75 degrees still it is right now. I think it's been 75, 76 for today as well. But if you're not going, FS1 will have it. That's Dish 150, DirecTV 219, and Xfinity. It's either 265 or the HD is 691 for the game coming up tonight. This kind of last week was a reset week for the college football voters. Last week, 10 teams that entered into the weekend ranked in the top 25 lost. That were 5 ranked teams losing to unranked opponents. So, again, the poll changed quite a bit. We had a few matchups of head-to-head last week. Kansas was playing TCU today in a major matchup of rated teams going head-to-head. TCU beat them 38-31 at Kansas to stop Kansas's magical start at 5-0. You also had number 8 Tennessee wallop LSU today, the 25th rated team, 40-13, and that game was at LSU. So that's the other head-to-head matchup. Utah's just scored against UCLA, so they're in the fourth quarter, and it's 28-24, I think it is, or maybe, and I don't know if Utah went for 2 again, or maybe they're thinking about it. They went for it earlier, but Utah, I think, has just scored, and now they're probably trying to decide if they're going to go for 2 or whatever, or maybe it failed. I guess something's going on here. Cam Rising ran for the touchdown, so that made it 28-25 at that time because it was 18. So that's where it is, and they did add the point after touchdown. So 28-25 is where the Utah-UCLA game stands. Those are the rated teams playing each other this week. Early season firings already in college football. Again, we had Scott Frost let go by Nebraska earlier. Carl Dorrell was let go by Colorado. Wisconsin's Paul Chryst. Tell you what, Brent Venables at Oklahoma, longtime great defensive coach for Clemson and Dabo Swinney, finally gave up that job, took a head coaching job at Oklahoma, and they got beat by Texas 49-0 in the Red River Challenge today. That's the worst loss they've ever had in that series, and they have had 3 straight weeks of nightmare for those people down there at Oklahoma. Matt Wells, our former head coach, is one of the offensive analysts for them. They lost their quarterback before the game, I guess in a practice injury before the game started or something is what I heard, and they were not in sync today, and they lose again in that one going on. And besides the games last night, San Jose walloping UNLV and Colorado State, a last-second field goal after they missed the first try. They got another extra chance. They beat Nevada. Wyoming is at New Mexico. That's on CBS Sports Network at 5. Fresno State and Boise State will be on FS1 right after our game, and then Hawaii and San Diego State play tonight over on CBS Sports Network after that Wyoming and New Mexico game. But what's going on in our conference? As we mentioned, there's nobody getting AP votes. That's the first time since we joined the Mountain West in 2013 that we've been in the league where nobody's getting AP votes. The Athletic this week had rankings of all the college football teams, and the highest-rated team from our conference was Air Force at number 55. They had San Jose at 70, and they won last night impressive ways, so they might move up. UNLV at 71, and they lost impressively last night, so they're probably moving back. Wyoming at 74. The Athletic had Fresno State at 90, Boise State 93, San Diego State at 94. The Aggies were 109. New Mexico 118, Nevada 119. Hawaii was 130, Colorado State was 131. Colorado State had the worst standing in college FBS football, but they stopped their losing streak last night, beating Nevada. But Jason Walker, our full-court press guy in the afternoons, posted this week that the teams that got first-place votes before the year even started in our conference, now that's Boise State, Air Force, USU, Colorado State, and Fresno State, San Diego State. They're 11-17 going into this weekend. The other teams in the conference were 15-15. There is a big reason why. This conference used to be dominated by quarterbacks. There are many quarterbacks who made it to the NFL out of our league. We had guys early, that have of course got Jordan Love, and you've got people, the Cars at Fresno State. I mean, this league was known for their quarterbacks. But look at the numbers right now. Colorado State only scored the field goal at the end of the game, their offense. Their others were a pick six and a fumble recovery return to lead Nevada 14-0 at one time. They have the worst offense in America. They are the worst rushing offense in America. They did finally last night get about 170 yards rushing. We mentioned Air Force at the top. But you've got Fresno, Hawaii, San Jose, and Colorado State all in the bottom third of rushing offense in the country. And you've got Boise State, Hawaii, Wyoming, Nevada, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Colorado State. That is 7 of our teams are in the bottom third in offense. 3 of the 5 worst are San Diego State, New Mexico, and Colorado State going into this weekend. The Aggies just barely at number 100 in offense, stay out of the bottom third. But in passing, Utah State at 104 is in the bottom third. Hawaii, Colorado State, Boise State, San Diego State's the worst passing team in America. Air Force is close, but they run it so well. New Mexico's way back in passing. Wyoming, Peasley hasn't exactly had a great year throwing the ball. New Mexico, Boise State, Colorado State are all in the hundreds. Then you look on the other side in defense. San Jose State is 23rd. So offensively, San Jose's 97th, but defensively 23rd. They probably moved up with the UNLV game last night. Air Force is 14-30 in the 2 polls, defense to offense. Boise State's the number 5 defense, but they are the number 12 offense. That's really what's going on in this conference up until now. I mean, it's just kind of a strange thing when you share the numbers. So somebody besides Air Force is not doing much. Air Force has always, of course, had this team, and then all of a sudden now Air Force is number 1 in the pass offense, passing offense defense. They're really defending the pass. They're number 6 overall in pass defense. So I feel that Cooper Legault will be better this week with passing after having another week of workout. But that challenge, of course, for Cooper running some, does it become a big deal for Air Force as they prepare? Here is Joe Richter, a guy who plays everywhere on their defense. He's number 8.
I feel like it might change our play calling up a little bit, but I think generally, we're always prepared for a QB who can scramble. Our defensive line, I think, does a really good job of getting pressure, but also, the ability to have some guys come out of coverage and stop him scrambling. So I think preparation-wise, it doesn't change a ton. I think we're always pretty prepared for that because anything can happen during the game.
Now, this junior Bo Richter is a guy who makes plays for their defense. He's kind of like their Ike Larson in some ways. Whenever he's in there, he seems to make a play. He plays linebacker inside. He plays outside. He plays defensive line.
I just like it's nice because played a lot of inside linebacker last year and playing a lot more outside, a little bit of defensive end earlier this season. And I love it. Just for me as a player to be able to see, just get a more complete understanding of what's going on in our defense. I think it's helped me a lot, not just in the position I'm playing every week, but just understanding everything. And I mean, if I ever have to go back to inside backer where, you tell everybody what to do, get everybody in the right spot. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's everything's easier if you know more of the defense. So I think it's helped me a lot.
That's Bo Richter again from the Air Force side on defense. Brian Cobbs said this week when we talked to him at the press conference, it's kind of like the team just kind of saw, okay, last week, we're not going to have Logan Bonner. We have Cooper Legault. We need to, not just he, but everybody, play a whole lot better on the offensive side of the football.
It definitely did, but all in all, Cooper's a great player and a great leader. You guys saw what he did when he came in the bowl game. Hadn't really played last season and came in and first play of the game, threw the touchdown, so we knew that he was going to come in and he was going to be amped up and ready to go. We knew he was going to be confident and he was going to put us in the right positions to make plays, and then at the end of the day, when the ball came our way, us as receivers just had to make the plays. And then you saw in the first half, I think that was the best half of football we've played in the whole season. And then I know Coach Anderson referenced to it probably since last year. That was one of the best halves of football we've played as a team.
And let's go back now to Troy Calhoun, who did recruit Cooper Legault when he was still a junior in high school at Orem High School. Now what does he see?
He moves really, really well. Obviously, Bonner is a heck of a player. You look at the season that he had last year and just overall how good they were last year, and he was the driver. And now to bring a guy in also that that moves really well. We liked the kid a lot when we looked at him in high school.
So yeah, that's what he had to say. So Calhoun's defense against the pass has been really good. Maybe not great passing teams they have played up until now, again, including Nevada and Wyoming, a couple of teams that are struggling with their offense for sure. But Cobb says this number 11, a guy named Camby Goff, number 9, Michael Mack, back in the secondary, good players back there.
We know they're going to be quick to the ball. They play great team defense. They're going to play hard. They're not going to make mistakes. So I think in terms of us as an offense and as receivers, we really got to be on our P's and Q's and just play hard each play when the ball comes our way. Make the play because we know we're not going to get a lot of those opportunities back, especially with the fact that they're running the ball a lot with the triple option. So each possession that we have really matters. And I think if we can make the most of each opportunity, this should be a good result.
And that's what I've been saying. It's precious when you got the ball. You got to make something happen with it against Air Force. So that brings me to the starting lineups for the game. Marriage, anniversaries, holidays. S.C. Needham Jewelers is always your jewelry and gift store. Again, 125 years longer than that. Shopping at S.C. Needham Jewelers, a tradition. Again, the state's oldest jewelry store. We have 4 starters out now that started the season. Bonner at quarterback, one of those. And we knew at this point that Legault was going to be the quarterback last week. I don't know if we've really added anybody as an out-of-the-season deal. It does sound like that Brock Lane, the tight end who made that one play in the game last week, is now going to be missing. The coach said.
I mean, Brock ran right by the safety. Unfortunately, he missed the rest of the game with a hamstring issue, and he is questionable as to whether or not he'll be back. I'm hoping he recovers quickly, but if you notice, he didn't go back out the rest of the game. He tweaked a hamstring on that particular play.
Yeah, that one that did eventually call back, but the Aggies still overcame that. Josh Sturzer, we had Parker Buchanan on the sideline last week, so Teavasasu, the other tight end, and Sturzer will fill that spot. Cobbs at wide receiver. The other wideouts, Terrell Vaughn and Justin McGriff. And how about, again, we noticed in the game that at one time Robert Briggs seemed to kind of get hurt. He went out. Earlier, Calvin Tyler had been hurt. He went out. Any problem with those guys? And then, remember, against BYU, Alfred Edwards did not play. Coach?
I would expect both running backs at full speed. Alfred worked out this morning in a limited capacity with the trainers. He looks like he will be ready to go this week. Now, it is going to depend on him having a good week of work. All indications are we should have him back on the field.
Again, that was earlier in the week, so hopefully he is back on the field. And then you've got probably back to South and not Moats on that one side. Moats got really badly beat on that one play that was very noticeable. Waylon Lapawahu and Wade Meacham, the inside guys, and then Chandler Dolphin at center along with Cooper Legault, quarterback. Defensively, Byron Vaughns and Daniel Gritchick kind of start, but Patrick Joyner Jr. part of that. Pokesi Vakauta and Hale Motuapoaka have to do the inside stuff, although Bo Miley, Tavin Coleman, young guys have been playing better. Tafisi and Vaughn Pachanga made a lot of plays at linebacker. Got to make more impact plays maybe there. We have seen Kaleo Nevis at times great, and at other times seems to disappear. But in the secondary, if Ike Larson can play, we know he can make plays, but you've got Dominic Tatum to back up Gervin Hall, Hunter Reynolds, Michael Wanyu, and Johnny Carter. I don't think they got any – they tried to appeal the Gervin Hall targeting, but I guess he has to miss the first half of the game. So that is your, again, starting lineups from SC Needham Jewelers. All right, next up, we have our coaches segment of KVNU Game Day, brought to you by a place with core values of character, experience, and trust. Aegis Home, Health, and Hospice. It's 435-723-9000. Go to myAegis, AEGIS.com for more information what they can do for you. And it's Game Day on KVNU.
I'm here with Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden. Mark, can you tell us a little about your experience with ChemDry of Northern Utah?
You know, our carpets get really dirty at Anderson Seed and Garden, and we clean every January. Our timing is kind of difficult. I called Daryl, and he was amazing to work around our schedule. They came in and cleaned our carpets. They looked like brand new when they were all done, and they've just been amazing to work with.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
SC Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from SC Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to scneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit job.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
Aggie Game Day continues. Sponsored by Daryl's Appliance on News Talk KVNU and Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
I mean, it felt awesome to score the first touchdown, but got to find a way to keep it going the whole game. Usually we're a second half team, kind of flipped it this week, came out, played strong the first half. Had some mistakes in the second half, so just finding a way to put both halves together and we'll be solid.
Yeah, that Cooper Legat touchdown, the first time we have scored with the ball, the first time in the game, and let's see what happens today against the Air Force Falcons. KVNU Game Day always has a coaches segment with it, their thoughts and their teams and the opposition thoughts and some keys to maybe winning. Appreciate Les Olson Company for being one of our sponsors. All of your office equipment needs, great names there, and half of organizations victims of ransomware. Don't take the risk. Get with Les Olson Security Suite, your free assessment at lesolson.com. Coach Blake Anderson beat the Falcons last year, 49-45, but that's the only time he has faced them as a head coach up until now.
Air Force obviously presents tremendous issues for you with the triple, seeing it one time a year, and some days you stone it, and some days, like last year, they go up and down the field. So this week is going to tell us a lot about who we are and moving forward.
Because they feel like they have a plan. Their plan last year didn't work. What about this Air Force option in more detail, Coach?
I've played against triple option teams most of my career. You find out very quickly in the game if your plan is going to work or not. And there's games that it's 14-13, it's 13-10. There's games it's 62-58, and it's 45-4. I've been in both of those, and typically, defensively, you put together a plan, you go in, and if you execute it well, and you can really keep it to a low-scoring game, then man, you're excited. There are all those days, and last year was one of them where our plan just wasn't very effective. Whether it was personnel or plan or all the above, they just kind of had our number, and luckily we were able to outscore them. I've been in them in every way possible. What's this week going to look like? I have no idea, and we won't find out till midway in the first quarter what our plan looks like. Can we execute it? Can our guys keep the play action pass in front of them? Can we handle dive quarterback pitch effectively and the counters that come off of it? Man, it is a huge challenge.
As we continue in our coaches segment before game day, Utah State Air Force coming up top of the hour. UCLA's just, again, picked up a fumble, ran to the end zone, and scored the next play. They lead 42-25 now with about 9:25 to go. Utah, again, down by 17 to UCLA in their game in Los Angeles. Now, last year in the game, we're talking about stopping their running attack. How about our running attack? We had almost 3 running backs. There were 100 yards from Air Force against the Aggies last year. But we had Calvin Tyler Jr., 132 yards, 2 scores, including the game winner with about 4 minutes to go as he ran away, went 61 yards on that play, and Coach Calhoun remembers.
It absolutely does. I think one of the things they do many things incredibly well. There's a reason why they won they were the best team in our league last year, and really, clearly, hands down, were the best team in our league last year. I think especially the way they played in the second half of the season. You go and look about their last 7 games. There are 5 of them where they just overwhelmed the opponent, including in the Mountain West Conference Championship game and in their bowl game too. And it's because of how effectively they spread you out to create a little bit of room, but they also want to push the ball forward. They want to pound the ball forward. In their run game, and he's an excellent back. And what they've been able to do, there are a good number of teams in our league that have done it really, really well, being able to bring additional players in, and they have them at a bunch of spots. And when you go through, these are big-time players. And you look at it, it's Miami, Texas, Michigan, Washington. And this is a talented player that's got a lot of help around him, too.
Yeah, he's talking about Calvin Tyler, the running back, the transfer from Oregon State and all. But, yeah, we do get transfers. They don't at Air Force. But their guys get in there. They learn this system. Their quarterback, Hazik Daniels, has had 3 years of being a very effective guy at making decisions that make Air Force move the football.
Yeah, he is very, very adept in that regard. And, I think just as far as a ball handler, I'm trying to go through and he's, being able to take a ball from center and make so many instant decisions. We talk about that, and that's what it is. It's talk to get to a point where a guy can do that well.
It's amazing what Daniels has done for them at the offense. And he did throw for a season-high 156 yards in their win against Navy 13-10. Now, the midshipmen know a little bit about defending the triple option, I'm sure, as Coach Anderson pointed out when I said to him they had their best passing game.
Well, it doesn't hurt that Navy's pretty good at playing the triple and defending the triple. Their quarterback can throw the ball and throw it very effectively. And you tend to be downhill and occupied with quarterback dive and pitch, and the next thing you know, they got a guy running right past you and he can make all the throws. So the discipline to be able to come off the triple and play the action and the drop back pass off of it is critical to keeping the score down.
And like we said, they are the number 1 rushing offense, and they rank number 30 overall in total offense right now. But they then, on the other side, are the number 14 defense in the nation, Coach Anderson.
They do a great job. Number 1, they shorten the game, and they don't play a ton of snaps. They're not going to play typically a ton of snaps. They're going to limit your possession, so when their defense does go out, they're not playing 80, 90 snaps a game. They're keeping it to 50 and 60, which is manageable. They're extremely sound, well taught, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't hurt themselves. They make you earn it. Now, we were able to get them in space last year and have probably the most explosive game against them all year, but that's not something you typically see them do. It is hard to score. They're physical. They make you one-dimensional. They stop the run typically on a weekly basis. They are so physical against the run. They force you to put the ball in space, and then I think they rally and defend it well. But I think their formula is shorten the game, play fewer snaps, be more physical than the opponent, and don't make a lot of mistakes, and that tends to be a really good defensive team.
And that's exactly what Calhoun talked about at the press conference. Now, you can tell a real concern, though, is if Laga and the Aggie offense get rolling like they did against BYU in the first half, the pace ended up last year affecting Calhoun's team, where the Aggies were able to get some things done with their offense against the Air Force and be able to come back 3 times to win the game.
No, that's a good question, because it's true. Just trying to have 2 huddles that are part of your scout offense. So as soon as one play concludes, immediately that next one's on the ball. And then if we feel like, hey, is it taking a little bit of time to identify formations, then there are times maybe where you have the defense literally turn around, you blow the whistle, and you 1,001, 1,002, and then the offense calls the cadence, just trying to find their guys and hustle to it. And now, does that do it exactly? Does it replicate it? No, but you got to try.
But then, Coach, your Falcons always have that prep edge whenever you have to go up against them. It's the only time you face in this conference the triple option like that they have protected. So can't the Aggies struggle in preparation all week long like Air Force is thinking about our quick offense? They're worried all week long about what to do there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, maybe your approach is a little bit different from, you know, when you play your other league games than what you'd see in your other 7 games. Very true. You know, is that the case for us? It probably. I mean, I think it'd be yeah, it is too, and I think that's okay. I mean,
that's the reason why they've done it. And it was interesting when they had Fisher DeBerry as coach. They brought this in, and that's why 33 of the last 35 years have been top 10 in the nation in rushing, or 34 out of 35 years. Before that, when they had Ben Martin and back to the other coaches, they threw the ball more than anybody at that time in the country because they thought they had to have an edge. When we played them in the 60s, that's what it was all about, and I think they beat the Aggies in that game they played in the 60s. Hey, don't let Mother Nature spoil your night. Get that Generac backup generator, and you always will have power. It's winter coming up. You don't want to be without power. The Generac backup generator is available from Golden Spike Electric, one of our game day sponsors on KVNU and The Fan. The game coming up here, about 10 minutes.
Elements has delicious lunch specials, 2 for $30, or the new soup, salad, and bread special for just $10. It's tasty and quick. Elements' lunch menu is full of scrumptious items prepared with a personal touch. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite Munster Burger, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9 p.m. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations today.
For over 20 years, Aegis Home Health and Hospice has been providing health care to Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. Whatever or wherever your health care needs, Aegis' goal is to meet those needs. Aegis Home Health and Hospice core values are character, experience, and trust. Aegis, AEGIS, striving to provide the health care services you need. Aegis Home Health and Hospice. Call 723-9000 or find them at myaegis.com.
Are you a small business owner? Who's your bank? This is Bruce Rigby. I want to invite you to bank with us at Cache Valley Bank. We specialize in helping small business, and we have great people. That's the Cache Valley Bank difference. Decisions made locally, without all the red tape, by people who care and know how to help small business. Cache Valley Bank, growing, expanding, and proud to have our roots firmly planted in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Know the Utah's Fireplace category help you update your home with Heat and Glow's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Heat and Glow has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
We're 1-4 record-wise, but I don't feel like the personality of the team right now or the morale of the team is that we're better than that. We're starting to trend in the right way. We're starting to look better week by week. Guys are growing up. We earn those losses. I mean, it's our fault, but this team could very easily have a different record, and really all that matters is what's in front of us anyway. This week is the most important game of the season.
This one, of course, will determine if you stay in the conference race, have a chance to defend your title, all those kinds of things as they play Air Force, a divisional rival, in this game in a few minutes. Now, the game before it on Fox FS1 is Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and they still have about 10 minutes to play. So I think if you're not going to the stadium, you're going to find out if you're watching FS1, they'll probably send you to FS2 or some other place to watch the start of the game. And I'm sure they probably in the stadium won't start till maybe 8 after or start a little bit later. Try to wait a little bit. And then that game behind it is supposed to be 7:45 kickoff for Boise and Fresno State. Air Force games are short, but I don't know if they'll be that short for sure. Hey, It's Thermo Fisher Scientific of Logan. They make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer that bring you our Know Your Aggies features, which are kind of fun. Here's another for you.
Getting to know our Aggies, striker Calhoun Neves, and there are no wrong answers, just whatever comes to your mind. How do you feel about roller coasters?
As a youngin', I loved them. They're fun, got all that rush. Nowadays, if I step on any roller coaster, I'm getting sick instantly. So, it's a little passive aggression on that one.
Lagoon as a kid? Or?
Never been to Lagoon. I went to Six Flags out in California a lot because that's where I grew up. So, that's my stomping grounds over there. Yeah.
Fair enough. Dogs or cats for you?
I've always been a dog person, but I currently have a cat.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I don't judge. My cat. I love my cat. Never really was a cat person until I got one. So.
What kind of cat?
I have a Siamese. Half Siamese, half something.
It's a mix.
It's a mix. It's a little mutt, man.
And name?
Jerry.
Jerry. Okay. How'd you come up with that?
I watched a show called Rick and Morty, and like I said, I don't like cats, and Jerry's kind of that character that no one likes. So, I named him Jerry.
That sounds very counterintuitive, but I could get that. Do you have a favorite video game?
Not at the moment. I grew up playing a lot of Halo. A lot of Call of Duty, Madden, 2K, just the typical games you'll see us playing.
And then last question, if you had to kick a 25-yard field goal to win the game, would you make it?
I'm crushing it. I'm making that all day. Put it on my back.
Very good. Calhoun Neves, full of confidence. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Aggie Nation out.
Thank you very much, Eric. And like we said, Eric, post-game, and either Zach Van Leeuwen, Travis Van Leeuwen, or one of the Van Leeuwens join with us after the game for our game day coverage of the Aggies against Air Force in this game coming up. Again, they're always kind of fun features here a little bit. There's not many players that would admit they're a cat guy over a dog guy. Are you ready for an interesting stat before the game from Cache Valley Bank? We always do our stats after the game from the Cache Valley Bank people. Again, they have the statewide presence, but they really do always focus on you, their local customers. The Aggies have tried more fourth down attempts than any team in the nation going into this game. They are 6 for 17 on fourth downs. And the Aggies, like we said, are still number 8 in tackles for a loss, despite the fact they're way back in overall defense and in giving up points. Ike Larson is second in the nation in block kicks. He's 30th in the country, along with, Hunter Reynolds in interceptions with 2. And we're one of 16 teams that have scored a kickoff return touchdown. That won by Terrell Vaughns earlier this year. Remember, we had a number of connections recently in the last 3 games. There's only 5 in this game. And among them is Randy Spetman, who was our athletic director here from 2004 to 2007. He was over at Air Force's AD, 1996, 2003, had played for the academy before. Notice that Charlie Jackson is an assistant head coach, DB coach. He was here at Utah State as a kind of an assistant to the head coach, Brent Guy, in 2006. And this is the 92nd ever homecoming game for Utah State. The Aggies have won 56 and lost 33 with 2 ties on homecoming. And like we said, it's the 3rd time they have ever played. We did have a homecoming event today, the parade, which was great with the good weather this morning. And then Utah State volleyball victorious in the Estes Center as they took care of Fresno State today. And Fresno State's a team that hadn't won, I don't think, a conference play. Well, yes, they were. They were 4-2 going into it. So the Aggies with a win against Fresno, that's a big win for them to take care of Fresno. They had a big win against San Diego State the other night. And soccer will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Air Force in the Chuck and Glory Bell soccer field for that one after they lost their matchup to Colorado College this week. And what'd you think? I didn't get a chance to see the scrimmage last night, but it sounds like, again, that people enjoyed what they saw this Aggie team. Again, a couple of guys out with injuries last night in Rylan Jones and in Taylor Funk. The transfer from St. Joe's couldn't play. But I'll tell you what, this Dan Akin looks pretty good. Max Shulga, I said that when he played that international competition for Ukraine, it would help him. And it looked like as he led the team with 18 points, but he also led in assists and steals. He had a big night. Z Hamoda making some plays that got everybody excited last night, and it was good to see Stephen Ashworth score and Sean Bairstow with 10 points as well. So now the Aggies have a lot more work to do. They'll have a closed scrimmage with some team, I'm sure, somewhere in the country. I think they went and played SMU, I think it was last year. I don't know who they'll play. That's all closed, and you can't talk about it. But they will start the season against Utah Valley on Monday night, November the 7th. And I know the Aggie Hockey team played at home last night, had a matchup. I don't know if they do again tonight. Sometimes they go Fridays, Saturdays. And yesterday, the cross-country team, the men won the Steve Reeder Memorial. The women were second behind BYU. Camilla McKistry had the best finish for Utah State on the women's side. Brandon Benson had the best finish on the men's side. Missed it last night in high school football. Skyview beat Green Canyon. So they're really winning the region because they beat Ridgeline, who they tie with. They beat them in the head-to-head. Ridgeline beat Logan, and then Mountain Crest over Bear River. Westside beat Declo. Century beat Preston. Bear Lake beat Malad. Grace over Wells, Nevada. Box Elder beat their matchup at Bonneville. And it was Cokeville, Wyoming beating Rich in the high schools. The Utah game, again, is at 42-25 with about 3 minutes to go. UCLA has the ball. So it looks like maybe Utah might lose that game at UCLA. They have Southern Cal coming up this next week in that home game in Salt Lake City. We have Air Force. Again, can we stop the run? My guess is, again, they'll probably tell you on Fox Sports, if you're going to try to watch it on FS1, move over to Fox Sports 2. In the meantime, we'll be here immediately when the game is over with our game day postgame for you. We'll analyze the game, talk about it, have your questions, your comments, your text messaging, all of that coming up. Thanks for joining with us on our pregame game day. Thanks, sponsors.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM.